Hello everyone. In this lesson we are going to take a look at static variables. Well, static variables are variables that are going to be the same for every object of a class. To illustrate this, let's create a class. Let's call it student. And then let's define some instance variables like ID and name. Okay, let's create a constructor, public student, and then int ID and string name. And then we define these dot ID is ID, and these dot name is name. And then let's just print out let's say student ID plus these ID and system.out.println. Okay, student's name, these dot name. Okay, let's create some instance of this class. Student S1, let's call it S1. New student, let's say the ID is 1, and let's call our student Albert Einstein. Okay, let's run our code. Pretty good. Now let's create another instance of this class. Let's call it S2. Let's call it 2, and then Isaac Newton. So as you can see, the ID is different for every student, for every object, and the name is also different for every object. So static variables are variables that are the same for every object of a class. For example, we are going to create a variable called private int count, and we call it static. So this count variable will be the same for every object of this class student, and it counts the number of students in our university. We are creating a university, and we are defining the students of it. So every moment when we instantiate this class, we're going to increase the count. First, let's set it to 0, okay? And let's also print out the number of students. The number of students is count. Okay, let's run the code. So for the first object, S1, when we create it, the number of students is going to be 1, of course. And then the number of students is going to be 2 when we create the second object. We can also create a public static method. I just wrote method. Okay, a public stat method that's going to return an integer. Let's call it get count. And return count. That's what this method does, and we can simply instead of using this here, you can simply call the method here. So sysout student.getCount. So here we have it, 2. We have 2 students. Okay, now let's remove these lines and let's call it students.getCount. And what do we get? 0. So just like static methods, the static variables exist even if there are no objects of that class, student. So that's pretty much it, guys, about static variables. Thanks for watching and subscribe.